We are being recorded.
All right.
Hello, Mr. Strauss. Have a seat next to your wife, please.
All right, these are
And
for
we'll
you.
get started.
How you doing?
I'm very good, sir.
Good.
Busy as a one-armed goalie in a soccer match,
I can imagine.
to use a different analogy. All right, my name is Harold Zawatsky,
Okay.
and I am a member of the Board of Assessment Appeals. We're all volunteers. There are 9 of us this year. And this hearing is being recorded.
So I talk to her. I can't hear good.
I guess I'll be
And
talking.
so I would ask you to use your outside voice and speak in towards this phone so you can be heard.
Do what?
We have to speak into the phone.
Oh.
Now,
Tell
did
me
they
what
give
to
you a
say.
paper downstairs to sign?
Yes, the affidavit, or whatever it is.
Well, the
yes.
swearing in. Yes, hold on to that a
Yes.
second so that when I swear you in, I'll ask you to sign that.
All right.
But I want to verify some information first, Mr. and Mrs. Strauss.
Mm-hmm.
The start time for this appeal is 9:05 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
on Thursday, March the 5th, 9:05 a.m.
There's Mike's picture over there.
Okay, the appeal that we are reviewing today is appeal number 608, is that correct?
Correct.
The address is 48 Pine Creek Avenue,
Right.
That's correct.
and you, John and Geraldine Strauss, are owners,
Correct.
Yes.
and the town has valued your property for $1,640,500. At least that's what appeared on your petition.
Okay.
And your opinion of fair market value is $1,500,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, I would like to take the next step of swearing you in. So I'm going to read this for you. Mrs. Strauss, do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So you stated on your petition, if you could please sign that for me, and then I'll date it and sign it myself. Thank you. On your petition, you stated that adjacent homes are larger with 3-car garage and recently sold for $1,850,000. The subject property has not been updated in 25 years at least, and the per square foot assessment of land same as similar neighborhood properties. So please explain or state what your reasons are for requesting the reduction.
This is number 38 Pine Creek Avenue. Okay? It says the assessed building value is $201,460,000, and ours has been assessed at $214,060. It's a smaller house. It was updated before this one was, many years ago. Our second
Give it to him, Jerry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, but
That was my sister's house. That one.
very good. But however, I believe that the town has your value set at $1,640,000. So I'm not sure.
That's the assessed building value.
That's the town's value for the entire property.
No. The 214, no. The assessed, wait a minute. No. The land and the building is $1 million something, I think. See, the numbers I have.
The total is $1,640,500.
Correct.
Okay. That's the appraised value. That's the town's opinion of
Correct.
the market value of the home as of October 1st, 2020. Your assessed value, the amount that you pay taxes on, is $1,148,350. And so are you claiming that the fair market value should be reduced from $1,640,000 to $1,500,000?
Yes.
Okay. And your reasons for that?
Well, the building price per square foot of land, the building price per square foot is $62.12 compared to $40.98 for 38, and it's a bigger house. 38 is larger than ours, yet the building price per square foot is less. Our other argument is there's another house where I think
78.
It's 78, where the land price per square foot is $73.74, whereas ours is $105.33.
And we're 2 houses away.
Yeah, and it's the same lot, I think. But why is there a difference in the land price per square foot than ours?
$25 difference. And I built that house.
I understand, sir. So you would like us to, do you have any information that you would like to add to the folder based on what you're giving me? Okay.
It's this house.
So,
it's Jones' house.
These are all on Pine Creek Avenue.
Correct.
I see that. And the land price per square foot does vary, and in some instances the value of the building varies greatly. I would point out that your assessment is based upon your entire property value, the house and the land.
Okay, I understand.
You can't really split the two apart.
But why are they split on our...
Can I explain from the beginning? My grandfather bought the lot, 2 houses. There was 2 houses on one lot, same size. Then when we moved in, my sister, who lived next door, we subdivided it right down the middle.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter what our argument is.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm just saying what happened. And now her house is bigger, square footage, than ours. But she's paying less.
But
and the one on 78, I built that. It's 2 houses away. And it's the same thing. The dike's in front of us, the beach is in, there's no difference in the property. It's in the house.
And this is the property that you mentioned at
38.
38.
It's next door. That's my sister's house. Yeah,
well, she no longer owns it.
I understand. Okay.
But the big difference between the 3.
All right. Now
are they on? And they're on the same side of the street. You're saying,
correct.
Right? Okay. Is the acreage the same?
Yes.
Okay, we can certainly look at that. Is your home on oceanfront?
Yes.
Is it oceanfront property?
Yes.
Okay, and the other property at 38 Pine Creek is also
correct
on ocean because it is adjacent.
And so is 78, which the land price per square foot is a lot less than what we're being charged for ours.
And next door, too. It just seems crazy. in the building
I
business.
understand. That's why we are here as fellow citizens and taxpayers in Fairfield. We volunteer to be advocates, if you will, for our fellow taxpayers to take their arguments as to why they believe that their tax assessment is incorrect, and then we will review that. Do you have anything else you wish to add at this time?
No, I think it's in printing below. Compare the assessment of the lot at 105 to 78, which is 7324 or 74. And you said that the assessment was on the whole thing, the land and the house together, yet...
Similar properties have different values, is what you're
saying. No, I understand that,
okay.
But why is it broken down on this, the assessor sheet, as land and improvements?
Because it is broken down for the purposes of valuation. The land has a certain value, the house has a certain value, but you are being assessed based
on the whole
the
thing.
Whole property.
Yes.
But we can look at the individual
yeah, well, that's our point of, that's our argument.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, you'd think they'd be more consistent because they're all on the beach. They're all have beach in front of them. Where they're up farther, they have the creek.
Yes.
Where I could see it would change. You know, I did a building business, and I get a piece of property, and
okay,
we're all the same.
So the overall assessment went up $210,000, which is kind of high.
No, the overall assessment went up. Well, yes, I'm sorry. Looking back at your original card, your overall assessment from last year, your assessment last year was $937,790, and currently it is $114,850. Is that what you see?
$1,148,350. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So that's a $210,000 difference. 210 plus $560,000 difference, which I think is kind of excessive. What is the mill rate now?
26.79, I think.
Which would probably raise our taxes probably about $5,000.
Well, the mill rate has not been established yet.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I have that here. I'll give you an accurate number. The mill rate is 26.79.
Okay.
26.79.
Are they anticipating going up or down?
As of July 2020. That depends on the town's budget.
Okay.
And what the final tally is for the grand list.
I think I read somewhere they're anticipating a
Well, they got to get all
something increase, right?
Of the mill rate.
Yeah.
But as we go through these hearings, the grand list total will change based upon the decisions, at least for the appealed properties.
Well, I was on the RTM and I was on the finance. We got all the contracts and everything else in, and then they took it from there.
I understand. Well, let me conclude then by telling you what the next steps will be.
Okay.
All right. I thank you for coming in and explaining your positions. I personally will be presenting your petition to a majority of the board of the members of the Board of Assessment Appeals for deliberations and consideration, and we'll vote. The majority, we're 9 members, the majority will be 5. We will vote. If your appeal is approved, you will receive a letter in the mail that's been approved. If it is denied, you will also, of course, receive such a letter. If it is approved, you cannot come back for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Until the next revaluation.
Okay.
If it is denied, you have the right to come back next year, and each year.
And appeal it each year?
And you can appeal it each year, yes. And if it's denied and you disagree with the findings of the board, then you can appeal to the state courts.
Right.
Which
We've been through
is your
that process.
prerogative, and
We've been through that process.
The explanation of how to do that will be included in your letter.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
All
Thank
right.
you very much for coming in. I hope
Thank you for hearing us.
What we'd like to do is get it down to where when we got married, $268.
Wouldn't that be nice for everyone?
Me too. I've been living in this town for 33 years, and I'm married 46 years.
For 56.
He
we're
was
going on
born
56.
in the house basically where we live. So.
Well, our family's been there 105 years.
Wow. That is.
Yeah.
That is
Okay,
almost.
Yeah.
a
Thank
record.
you. Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you for coming in.
He was my good friend of my father's. They played football together.
Oh yes.
Sullivan.
Sullivan.
He
Yes.
swore me in for voting.
Huh.
He used to come down to my father's restaurant with his wife and kids.
Well, keep voting. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, be careful.
Thank you. You too. Hello.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Ms. Ciaffi, is it?
So I'm an attorney. My name is Attorney Cheryl Carolyn. I'm representing Mr. Chiaffi.
Oh, great. Could I ask you to please shut the door because we are recording and I don't want to have any noise interruptions. And if you would be willing, please, to sit in the chair here because the recordings are being taken by the phone on the white table here.
Uh-huh.
And you have an affidavit for me. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, a few things for you. So you want me to sign this in front of you, right?
No, after well, you don't have to be sworn in, so that's not necessary. You are an attorney and an officer of the court.
That's right. So that I don't need. Do you want the affidavit authorizing me to represent him?
Yes, please.
So there's two because technically we have two properties that we're dealing with here.
Well, I'll take that back. I will ask you as agent to please sign on the space there.
Do you want me to write my name?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind. And your name is Cheryl Carolan?
That's right.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like a girl's name, but it has an A-N at the end there.
Okay. I have friends' names who are Craig, and she's a woman, and and so on.
Anything goes these days.
It's quite all right. And there's no rules for pronunciation of names.
Right,
It
exactly.
can be whatever.
And I'm not offended. Some people call me Carolyn for my first name. Because
Okay.
I technically have two first names, I suppose.
So let me just briefly go through some details, make sure that we're talking about the correct property. The first appeal that we're going to be discussing is appeal number 468. The property address is 38 Pine Creek Avenue. Is that correct so far?
Yes.
The owner is Joseph Ciaffi. The town has the property valued as of October 1st, 2020 at $1,613,300. And you as the owner believe that the market value of your home as of October 1st, 2020 is $1,300,000. Correct?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay. Today is Friday, March the 5th, and the hearing time is 9:30. We are beginning the hearing at 9:30. My name is Harold Zawatsky, and the appellant is Joseph Ciaffi, represented by Cheryl Carolan, Esquire, attorney, and I do have affidavits for this and the next property in question. Okay. We can forego the swearing-in process because Miss Carolyn, is an officer of the court, an attorney. So please, this is your opportunity to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home as of October 1st, 2020 was $1,300,000 and not the value assessed by the town, and what the market value of your home most likely would have sold for on that date. So please present your information.
Sure. I have a book that I'll give you all the information that I sort of compiled so that you'll have it. You can review it when you guys gather. But essentially, this has the knockdown. Here, why don't I hand this over to you because it'll have everything.
Yeah.
But it's a knockdown property built, in the 1900s, and it's on FEMA compliant. In that binder, I've included a copy of a building inspection which shows essentially that the entire house needs complete renovation and is likely to
have to be knocked down because of the FEMA regulations requiring that the property either be FEMA compliant or you can only put limited amounts of money into the property, as we know. Also in that in the pile of documents there are comps relative to this property, and the one that's most relevant to this appeal is property address known as 2087 Fairfield Beach Road. It's almost exactly the same as this property here as far as square footage.
Could you repeat the address for
me,
please?
2087 Fairfield Beach Road. And, of course, that's all in the binder as well. The comps are in there with the assessed value and the listing and information on the recent sales. This property, too, is non-compliant as far as it's non-FEMA compliant. It also has a garage across the street, just like this one here, which we'll talk about. That second appeal really sort of correlates with this appeal in that one side of the street is the house, the other side of the street is a garage structure. So one is 38 Pine Creek and the other one is 31, but honestly, they are sort of only taxed separately, but they're treated otherwise as one structure for purposes of the values and appraisals and things of that sort, and always has been treated as such. So that
it has always been. Excuse me. This is Harold. It has always been treated as one property, although the garage is on one side and the home is on the other.
Yeah, I mean, so there are separate tax bills, but that garage and that lot, which we can talk about in a minute when we get to that portion of it, but I think they're correlated, is worthless as an individual lot. You can't do anything with it. There's a garage. It's 3,000 square feet. In fact, you can't even put an accessory apartment upstairs per zoning, and we've consulted with Attorney John Fallon relative to prospective propositions of what we can do with that lot. And essentially, we barely could renovate it without, again, making it FEMA compliant. So that across the street property, which we can talk about again later, is sort of almost useless. I mean, if there was no garage there, there'd be nothing that we could do over there except, maybe plant some flowers.
Yes.
So the property at 2087 Fairfield Beach Road, that value all in was $1,368, which is right in correlation with what we think our value is here at this point. And the recent assessment there was $971,000. And again, all these numbers, figures, and documentation are attached in that binder. The other comps that I've included in that pile of paper is 1091 Fairfield Beach Road, and that was sold at $1.5 million, and that was a knockdown. Of course, now it's been rebuilt, and it's not that relevant as far as the assessment is currently, but it was otherwise similar to the subject property. The third comp that's contained in the documentation is 1337 Fairfield Beach Road. That also was built in the early 1900s. It's also non-FEMA compliant, and the garage is also across the street with, the lot similar to the one we're talking about today. And in that property, all in, like I say, is 1560. So when I say all in, the town has separated out the subject property at 1613 and the garage at 912, giving the full appraised value of 1.704. Again, all that is in the binder.
Very good.
There's one last thing I want to say. It's the 160 South Pine Creek is the same exact assessed value as this subject property, and it's 15 years old, brand new. Everything is state-of-the-art inside. So to compare this value here to the brand new sort of property at 160 Pine Creek seems non-equitable.
And you say that based on your research, the 160 Pine Creek is new construction?
It's only 15 years old,
and
it's in the pile, but basically they advertise it as, upgraded kitchen, brand new Viking appliances, renovated bathrooms. So in other words, it's in mint condition. Ours here, you could probably either take a bulldozer to it or, have the town of Fairfield light it as a fire example with the town. Either way, it's habitable, but barely. And there's photographs in the binder. You can see essentially all the problems resulting from the core of the property to the roof, the siding, and everything in between.
All right, this is Harold. For my own edification and clarification, this vision card that I have, which shows the appraised value for the dwelling and the land of $1,613,300, which is what the town is claiming the appraised value is. Are you saying that includes the land for the garage and building on the other side?
I don't know. The 1613 is just the 38 Pine Creek, and 91,200 has been assessed to the property across the street, which we'll be calling the garage, and that's known as 31 Pine Creek. Like I say, it's taxed separately, but it's sold as, sort of one unit, and it's been the history of the sale of the property and its transfer and the appraisals and so on going forward, except for the town, of course, as one unit.
Understood. Okay.
And so as far as, if you want to get into the garage, I have a couple little extra comments, but I think it's basically on the same line as what I've just talked to you about relative to it being a knockdown. The garage doors are a mess. We can't build on top of it to create some sort of structure where maybe there would be then some value if you'd have a habitable space, but it's not allowed per zoning, even if we made it FEMA compliant. So it's really just the structure for, putting your bicycles or your lawn equipment and maybe a car or two.
Understood.
Yeah.
Again, just for my own edification, I see that this property was purchased in September of 2020, very close, within a month of the October 1st, 2020 reval date, and it was sold for $1,850,000. And yet it is the opinion of the owner that the current market value is $1,300,000, and as we can also appreciate, the market value has risen over the period between October 1st, 2019 and 2020, and yet this is very close to the reval period time. Why is there a discrepancy of $650,000?
So the thing is that the purchase price sort of isn't quite relevant to the actual value, and just as we would do on the flip side of that, if the property was in foreclosure and my client bought it for $1 million, I'm sure the town would not then therefore assess him at $1 million. The fact of the matter is he overpaid for it, and he paid in addition to the actual appraised value that was done at the time of his purchase. And so again, I don't think that's as relevant as all the other information that I just gave.
Yeah.
Because it's really, we all know that Fairfield Beach Road and or South Pine Creek there are the limited spaces, and you're almost looking at the land value, honestly, because we all know we can't do anything with property down in that neighborhood without doing major construction, and he knew going into it that this property was almost bought for the land and he's going to have to knock it down. So whether he paid too much for it or if he paid too little for it, I don't think, I know that I hear your argument, but I'm sure if we bought this from a foreclosure action or an estate, well, actually this wasn't an estate, and we paid $1 million, I'm sure the town would not tax my client at $1 million. So
No.
It's not as relevant as the other information that I provided.
I understand. And the town did appraise the land for $1,380,000. I do see that on the vision card. All right, I understand, and I thank you very much for providing the supporting information for your appeal, for information and documentation for the appeal. Again, I'd just like to state that we're talking about fair market value as of October 1st, 2020. Just to, for the record.
And the relevant.
We are citizens, Fairfield citizens. We act as advocates on behalf of the taxpayers to hear their appeals. And if you have anything else to add,
Only just the comps that I provided were the relevant comps because that's the years of what the property at the time that the tax assessor is assessing property. It's not relevant to 2021 or something after October 2020. And it's all the comps that I provided are from the 2019 year, which is what is 19 and 20, late 20, is what the tax assessor uses for the relevant value. And then there is that binder. So if you have a peek, I mean, if you have questions about it, I'm happy to answer, but I'll leave that for you and your consideration.
Thank you. Given the limited amount of time we have, it's a good amount of information, and I won't do it justice by reviewing it now.
If you had questions, but I'm sure it's very self-explanatory, and everything that I just ran through is right in that binder. So I made it very friendly to understand.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
No, there's another property that you wanted to discuss.
All right. Well, so that's the garage. I can tell you the same thing I already told you.
All right.
That's the other address is the garage.
All right. Let me just review for the sake of the owner, Mr. Cioffi, our next steps, and is that I personally will be presenting your petition, because I was here at the hearing, to a majority of the board. Where 9 members on the board, a majority will be 5, for discussion and consideration and voting. We will vote either to approve your appeal or deny your appeal, in which case you will receive a letter of our, in either case you will receive a letter of our decision. If your appeal is approved, you cannot come back for a period of 5 years until the next revow period. If it is denied, then you have a right to come back each year or next year. And you also have the option to appeal to the State Superior Court if you are in disagreement of our decision, and information on how to proceed with that will be included in your decision letter. All right, next property is appeal number 430. One moment while I organize. All right, we are discussing appeal number 430. The property address is 31 Pine Creek Avenue. Is that correct?
Yes.
The owner is Joseph Cioffi. The town has valued the property at $91,200. The ask amount by the owner of the value as of October 1st, 2020 is $45,000. The hearing date is Friday, March 5th, and we are commencing this hearing at 9:45 a.m. And Mr. Cioffi is being represented by an attorney, Cheryl Cardolan, and I have an affidavit indicating her authorization by Mr. Cioffi. The attorney need not be sworn in. So please tell me why you think this property, the market value of this property, should be $45,000 as opposed to the town's value of $46,700.
Yeah. So the town has it at 91.2.
For the land, and then there's
the garage. So the whole bill is 91.2, and then the assessed values from there.
I see.
And it went up by $18,000 from last year to this year as far as assessed value is concerned. I think. I don't have it in front of me now because I put everything in your binder.
So for the town value on the petition, it says $46,700. However, that is not the total value that the town has assessed it at. the town has actually assessed the entire property, including the land and the outbuilding, to be $91,200.
Right. The application of the petition had an error in it as far as what the value was for the town.
Understood.
And so the same argument holds true here, is that the garage structure is needing major renovation. It has no use except for storing vehicles, perhaps, and even now it's probably not safe to put anything in there. You cannot build any kind of an accessory apartment per the zoning laws of Fairfield. There may be some opportunity to perhaps put an office under in the premises, but cannot do so without making it FEMA compliant, because you can't spend in excess of a certain value that would require it to be upgraded. The stairs, there's no stair set for the upstairs of the property. The garage cannot be used for anything except essentially what it is, and it should be like made part of the entire structure, which is the property across the street of 38 Pine Creek. And this too is non-FEMA compliant, and the value is only, and the land has no value. Essentially, it's 3,000 square feet. There's nothing you can do with that property besides the garage. You can't build a house on it. You can't put an apartment on it. There's nothing to do it. So it's just part of the parcel across the street, and it all should be so co-joined. And the total value of all of it combined, as discussed earlier, is in the 135 range, as it matches up with the property that we described earlier, being almost exactly on task, which was 2087 Fairfield Beach Road.
And you're using 2087 as an example for comparison purposes.
That's right. On that property, the house and the garage and lot across the street is, again, both buildings non-FEMA compliant, and the value all in there is 1368. When I say all in, I mean the house and the structure and the property across the street. And that value came in with the assessed value of $971,950 based on the 1368 appraisal.
Very good. Now, you have given me a folder which includes information on both 38 Pine Creek Avenue and 31 Pine Creek Avenue. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, essentially, the information on the assessments, the building inspection showing the dilapidated state of both properties, and then the comps that we discussed earlier. And I can mention those comps again in this part of the appeal, because we haven't already. Of course, we also have 1337 Fairfield Beach Road with the garage across the street all in, and 160 Pine Creek. And again, all those comps are in that binder.
Very good. We were able to save a little time this morning.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
helpful
Why
for
not?
me to catch up.
Yeah.
We're like machine gun, one after the other.
Yeah, all day, right?
All day. Well, I want to thank you for coming in to present your information. As previously mentioned, I personally will be presenting your petition to a majority of the board, and during our deliberations and consideration, we will determine, based upon a majority vote, a disposition of your appeal, and you will be notified by mail of the board's decision. If you are denied the appeal, you can return next year. If your appeal is approved, you cannot come back for a period of 5 years until the next reevaluation period. And if you disagree with the board's opinion, you have the right to take the next steps and appeal your decision to the state court. Any questions for me?
you have anything further to add?
No, I think so. I think she's right on point. When would a decision be made? Around what time frame?
Yes, very good question. We are deliberating concurrent with doing hearings because we have over 600 and we are by statute required to finish in March unless extenuating circumstances require an extension. So within 7 days of the decision, you will receive a written letter, the written letter, decision letter that I mentioned. And so I anticipate that you will receive a letter by the end of the month or with the mail maybe during the first week of April.
Right. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in and presenting the information. And of course, this appeal and all other appeals are recorded and are available through the town's website. I don't know if this is relevant in your case, but sometimes people can go down to the assessor's office to see if they can combine their properties and tax bills. I'm not sure if that's appropriate in this case, but feel
Probably
free.
would be based on the fact that this is a long-standing issue with whoever owned the building before. It was a builder, and actually did a number of renovations that never even got COs for, so it's been a long-standing issue. And it makes sense to consolidate things now.
You may wish to approach the assessor's office and discuss what options you have in that regard.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
Have a good day.
You do.
Okay.
Please have a seat. If you don't mind, would you shut the door behind you? I don't want any ambient noise because we are being recorded here.
Okay.
That's Kushner with a P? Yes. All right, thank you. This hearing is being recorded in real time and is also available to the public to listen in on in real time. And yes, we are connected. So to begin with, I'd like to review some information. We're appealing appeal number 616. The address is 459 Pine Creek Avenue. The owners are George and Diane Kushner. The town has your property valued at $1,291,500, and you're asking that the amount for the purposes of market value as of October 1st, 2020 should be $1,119,188. Is that correct?
No, 1,019.
Excuse me. I misread. 1,019,188. Today is Friday, March 5th, 2021, and we are beginning at 10:14 a.m. All right, welcome. My name is Harold Zawatsky. I am a member of the Board of Assessment Appeals, and we are citizens of Fairfield, volunteering to conduct these hearings, to act as advocates for our fellow taxpayers, to hear your appeals, and then present the information. Later on, I'll explain some more. To begin with, I'd like whoever is going to be providing the information to raise your hand, right hand, and let me read to you. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Great. So if you wouldn't mind to please sign that document that indicates your presence and that you've been sworn in. Thank you. So this is your opportunity, Mr. Kushner, to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home on October 1st, 2020 should be $1,019,188 and not the town's assessed market value at that time of $1,291,500. Please proceed.
Okay. We filed substantial evidence based on comparable sales in the neighborhood, based on the appraised values for our neighboring properties, and based on our cost of building the property, which was completed in 2019. And all of those indicate a substantially lower value than the appraised value. The average of the three values comes to that $1,019,188. You have a copy of what we filed?
Yes, I do.
Can I walk you through?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Certainly.
So the first page after the form, we explain the methodology that we used to adjust the comparable properties and the neighboring properties. And I would just note for the record that I work in the valuation field. I've worked for Duff & Phelps for more than 17 years. So I'm familiar with the process. I don't do residential properties, but...
perhaps better than me as a volunteer.
So what we did was we adjusted the appraised or the sales prices or appraised values for the size of the dwelling, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, depreciation, differences in land value, and finish quality. And we noted on that first page what our assumptions were there.
Hold up the page.
The first page of...
page one, it appears to be like this with the boxes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you want us to go into each assumption? Or
Given that, if you wish, we do have approximately 15 minutes. So utilize the time as best you wish.
Okay. So we adjusted for the size of the dwelling based on the difference between the subject property and the comparable, then multiplied that difference times the replacement cost from the field card. We adjusted for the number of bedrooms, plus or minus $40,000 for an extra bedroom. For the number of bathrooms based on $10,000 for a half bathroom and $20,000 for a full bathroom. We adjusted for depreciation, and essentially adding back the depreciation to the comparable property since our property is brand new as of the valuation date. And we adjusted for differences in land value based on appraised values from the field card, the differences between our assessed land value and their assessed land value. And finally, we tried to make an adjustment for finish quality based on pictures we had seen, or in some cases we've been in the properties. And so starting with the comparable properties, these are all in the same neighborhood, the 068 zone, and 3 of the properties represent waterfront properties on Pine Creek, similar to ours.
Yes.
The first property, and we've attached field cards for all of those. And if we go to the second page, if I can give you there was a typo on our...
On your property card?
On our analysis, the second page. If I can give you... Yes.
I'm going to circle what was changed. It was just no numbers changed. It's just we put
something in the wrong place.
In the wrong place. That's all.
And we're referring to page 2.
Yes.
Page 2, yes.
Yes, that was for the 30,000 was for a bathroom,
yes,
not for finish quality.
I see.
Okay.
So the original document presented for number of bathrooms did not have a amount associated with it. No, or it was...
That was misplaced on the following line. Yes. And the adjustment for the comparable finish quality was lower in this case.
So the 30,000 is for the additional bathroom, full bath.
In this case, bath and a half.
Bath and a half, 20 plus 10.
I'll add that to the file.
Okay, thank you. And so the first property we included is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath on Pine Creek, which is larger than our house and has more than twice as much land and additional water frontage. We made a negative adjustment for the size of the house since it's larger. We made a positive adjustment for the number of bathrooms. We made a positive adjustment for the depreciation, for our house being new in this case, and a negative adjustment for our house having less land and less water frontage. The total of those adjustments came to $34,000. The house sold for $995,000 during the period, and so our adjusted sales price is at $1,029,000.
Yes.
Doing a similar analysis for the property at 35 Old Dam, also on the on Pine Creek, and also with more property, more land than ours, but a smaller house here. So we made a positive adjustment for size, a negative adjustment for the number of bedrooms. They have 4 and we have 3. A positive adjustment for the number of bathrooms. We have an extra bathroom. Positive adjustment for depreciation, land value, and positive adjustment for the interior finish quality.
So a portion, just so that I understand,
Yep.
the location of your comps, the initial part of Pine Creek Avenue, starting from South Pine Creek Road, is designated as Pine Creek Avenue, and that's where you live.
Yes.
And then towards the
We're at the very end of Pine
end
Creek
of that
Avenue,
road.
on the creek, yes.
Okay, but and then there's Old Dam Road
Also at the very end
that
comes to Pine Creek.
Okay, and Old Dam Road ends in a T, and then there's a road along the water.
Yes.
On the canal side.
Yes.
Yes.
Can would you like us to point out where? Because as the crow flies, we're very close to them on the creek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you on the ocean side or on the creek side?
On the creek side. On the creek side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same. So if you go out of our house and swim down the creek, about 15 houses down on your left would be these three of these properties. And so they're both at the end of dead ends.
Yes. We have the opportunity during our deliberations to look at property maps and aerials and all those good things. So we can look at the location of your comps as well.
Great.
Right. So I think I had finished up with adjustments on the second property. With the adjustments, it sold for only $625,000. With the adjustments, we come to an adjusted sales price of $995,000.
For the 35 Old Dam Road property.
Yes.
Okay.
The third property is on the same street as us, but not on the creek, and it's a smaller house.
57.
This is 57 Pine Creek Avenue.
I see that.
Yeah. With the various adjustments, the adjustments add to $325,000 to give an adjusted sales price of $860,000.
Yes.
And the fourth property is again on Old Dam Road. This property was not on the creek. We make the same adjustments. In this case, very large adjustments for size and land value. Total adjustments come to $408,000. Added to the sales price of $700,000 comes to $1,108.
And this is ocean facing.
No, this is across the street from the creek.
Across the street from the creek.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's not on the creek.
So the first two properties and the last property are all on the creek. The other two properties were not.
So odd number properties are on the creek, and the even numbers might be
In this case.
In this case.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's actually complicated on our street, but we'll explain that when we talk about the neighboring properties. Finally, the last property, 73 Old Dam, is also on the creek. This sold after the valuation date range, though, in December of 2020. So we just wanted to note that.
Yes.
And with adjustments totaling $213,000, we have an adjusted sales price of $1.113.
Yes.
Can we make just a comment that we're picking up all of the sales in the appraisal period in our code 068?
Yes. Waterfront Creek Road. So again, I'm sorry, are you on the creek side?
We're on the creek side.
Okay.
We're on the creek side.
The note that I have here is correct on the card.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is all of the information that appears on the card, have you had a chance to review it?
It's one mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It says that we have cedar siding, and it's just vinyl siding. And we made a note of that earlier in the informal appeal, but it did not get changed.
Exterior walls, 1, under construction details?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Was that replaced within the last 5 years?
No, the house was finished completion. We finished building it in 2019.
It's a new home.
It's a new home, and it has vinyl siding.
All right. We'll
Yeah.
point that out and see if that has a factor.
Okay.
Your condition factor is your percent good is rated at 100. Perhaps that is due to the recent renovations that you've done within the last 2 years.
Well, it's a brand new home. We finished construction.
In 2019.
We tore down a house that was previously there. We purchased a property with a very small house in 2016, and then
built
a new house on the property, which was completed in 2019.
I see a completion date on the card, and perhaps you can help me with this. The first item, finished attic for storage, completion date of 4/1/19.
Yes.
And new elevated second story. All in those two were done in 2019, and then the demo took place in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And a pier was built. The home is now FEMA compliant?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We only have 2 more minutes, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So we have more. We have more.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
The second group of properties are our neighboring properties, which all have more land than us and more water frontage. And 2 of the 3 that we noted are larger homes, and they all have appraisals substantially below ours. And we made similar adjustments, which are detailed on the next page of the spreadsheet.
Page number?
It says page 2 at the top, but I think that might be an error.
Okay.
It says at the top, appraised
values for immediately neighboring properties to 459. And the numbering here is confusing because the road ends in front of 433, but these are all on the creek. The houses to one side of 433 are even, and to the other side are odd.
Could you please give me the street addresses of those comps?
Yes, 433 Pine Creek Avenue.
Yes.
444 Pine Creek Avenue. And 454 Pine Creek Avenue.
That was 454?
454, yes.
all on the creek.
Yes.
Right next to us.
All in a row.
In a row.
We have a friend who lives on the street. Andy is her name. I don't remember the family's name, the last name. Her name is Andy.
Are they on the ocean?
On the ocean side, yes.
Is her husband Dan?
Yes.
Yes, we know them.
The kayakers.
Yeah, they row, actually. They're rowers.
Thank you. Yes. They volunteer with my wife in at the Borough Center for the food drives.
Oh, nice.
Some other things, yes.
Nice.
Okay, so we detailed those three properties, the same adjustments.
Yes.
And that gets to adjustments of the appraised values between $941,000 and $995,000. And again, for two of these properties, they're substantially larger on larger properties, but the value is substantially less than ours.
Those are with the adjustments that you took into consideration.
Yes.
Got it.
But even without the adjustments.
They're appraised less than our property.
Understood.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And then finally.
Looking at the cost approach, on page 1 again, we summarized, we purchased the property with the existing structure for $540,000. And our costs of construction were $532,000 for a total of $1,072,000.
And that information is on, do you have a page number for me?
We attached the contract with the builder is the very last attachment.
Okay.
But there were adjustments to there were allowances that reduced the price, but there were overages. So the contracted price is $510,000. The final price ended up being $532,000.
Very good. Construction contract. Okay.
Yeah. And then finally, we took the average from each of those three methods to get that 1019 number.
I do see a construction contract here, but I don't see any number of values. Maybe
It should, the price is, I think, on the second page.
Oh, I see. Agreement
sum,
under
yes.
Agreement sums, yes. It's in the wording. Okay, very good.
Okay, I think that's all. Are there any questions we can answer?
No, you've been very kind to provide such detailed information. That will certainly help us with our deliberations. Can I share with you what the next steps will be?
Great, sure.
Okay. I will be presenting your petition on your behalf as the hearing officer, and that will be done to a majority of the board. We are 9 members on the board, so there'll be 5 voting members for any deliberations. And you will be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of the decision. All decisions will be made in March, and your appeal, if it is denied, you have the right to come back next year. If it is approved, you have to wait 5 years until the next revow period. And if you disagree with the findings of the board, you have the right to appeal to the state courts. Okay. All right, so you can expect a letter. I don't know when in the month we will get to this to deliberate this appeal, but within 7 days, and hopefully by the end of March or with the mails first week in April, you will get a decision letter.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
This call has ended at 10:34 a.m. Appeal number 616.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Bye. slow today because I woke up with a sore ankle.
Uh-oh. Well, guess what happened to me on the way in the door?
What was that, Nick?
My pinky got caught in the door.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
In the door itself.
in the door itself.
Oh, you're all right?
No, I'm not. I have ice.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Well,
And anyway, it
won't ask you to
got me
too much writing.
It got me distracted. Okay. Where would you like me to sit?
Please sit in the chair next to the white table because this session is going to be recorded.
Yes.
And this is the phone that has the microphone to pick up our conversation.
Okay.
So you can use your outside voice to speak towards the phone.
And I'll just kind of
So
keep this ice going for the pinky.
please do, and feel free to, since we have 2 hearings back to back, and we're starting a little late, I think we'll have time to catch up.
Okay, that sounds good. Oh.
Maybe you should go to the walk-in afterwards, or
No, it was limited to, it was just the last part of my hand.
yes.
So it's the nail bed. There's some bleeding under the.
Underneath.
It's no skin is broken.
Oh, good.
It's bruised, but I'm on an anticoagulant, so anytime
You'll get a little black under the nail.
there's significantly more bleeding, so ice on it will help a lot. It just feels like somebody has a pair of pliers right now.
Oh. Sorry to hear that. All right. To begin with, I'd like to verify some information,
Certainly.
and then I will swear you in.
And could I just have your name?
Yes, I'm sorry. My name is Harold Zawatsky.
Harold.
I'm a volunteer member of our town's Board of Assessment Appeals. I'm one of 9 members and we act as, if you will, advocates for our fellow taxpayers to hear their appeals and then to present your information before a majority of our 9-member board for deliberations, consideration, and voting. And we anticipate that will be completed in March this month.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll get into that in a moment.
Thank you, Harold.
Please help me verify. We're discussing appeal number 631.
Correct.
The address is 69 Pine Creek Avenue.
Yes, correct.
The owner of the home is Valerie Mcguire, and that's you.
Yes, sir.
The town has valued your property at $720,200.
Yes.
And you believe that the market value of your property as of October 1st, 2020, should be $670,000.
Actually, after more work since the informal appeal and now, I don't know, is that subject to change or not?
You can change your requested value, yes.
Okay. Based on what I've studied, I'm going to say the value as of that date should be $650,000.
Then I will ask you to take your petition and change the amount that you have on your petition.
Okay.
Cross it out, if you will, and put in the amount that you would like to your appeal to be, and initial it.
Yeah. And this is very hard to do without, this is all on my own, but
I understand.
I did the best I could. Let's put it that way, Harold. Okay.
And just initial, if you will.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Ms. McGuire has modified her petition to say that the opinion of the fair market value as of October 1st, 2020, in her opinion, is $650,000. The town has it valued at $720,000. All right. so at this point, I would like to swear you in. So if you would raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Very good. So now this is your opportunity to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home as of October 1st, 2020, and not the value assigned for the town's market value, should be reduced to $650,000. So please, I do have your paperwork that you submitted.
Oh, yeah.
And if there's additional information that
Well,
you would like me to add to the file, I can do that as well.
Let me ask you first, have you had your vaccine?
I've had both.
Okay.
But that, my understanding is...
And you're several weeks past your second?
I had it on the 19th of February.
Okay.
So
I only ask because I see your mask is slipping below your nose.
You're absolutely right, and we have taken certain precautions here.
Right.
I will raise my mask.
I'm not trying to be...
No, you're absolutely right.
We've all become so wary, haven't we?
Yes, I feel fortunate to have had my shots. It was actually done, as I say, in just about 2 weeks ago, but it was done in Florida while I was there, and I was able to get both shots within the Pfizer shots within the prescribed time.
That's great. Okay. Thank you, Harold.
Thank you.
Well, I know I did submit the information that you have in front of you for the informal appeal, and then I thought I might need to have a broader base of comparables, and pulled comparables based on a map of appraisal map that I had from 2012 of
I can take the paper that you signed.
I didn't sign it yet.
Oh, please sign it to indicate your appearance and that you have been sworn in. Thank you. I can do the rest for you if you'd like. Proceed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I because I know in my
Yes.
Excuse me, are you the 10:30 or 10:15?
10:30.
10:30.
I got here around 10:20.
No, I know. I think
the person that we have for 10:30 is Valerie Mcguire. She's here, and she has 2 hearings back to back.
Do you have number 96? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I do not have 96.
Okay.
I do not have appeal number 96.
I thought I read that was you.
Okay.
I do not have appeal 96.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sure
that was our assessor.
Yes, no, I know. I met him downstairs. He was very nice with my injury. So, anyway, Harold, I thought that perhaps I should have more comparables because at the informal hearing, I pointed to 2 comparables only. So,
are those the 2 that are in your file?
They are the 2 that are in my file, yes, sir, and they are the 2 that I keep coming back to.
Yes.
Because one is perhaps 30 yards from my house. It is right next door. And the other is of the other comparables that I've brought in is the next closest one to me. There were not that many sales in this time period in the parameters that I was looking at.
Yes.
But at any rate,
I did look at other properties, and I'm not quite sure exactly how to present it other than they were within 1.5 miles of my home pretty much. Let me see. So I did not make a graph up, but they ranged from, I tried to keep and you know you can do the parameters in a variety of ways, but I tried to keep a square footage and sales price and lot size in mind.
Yes.
There was looking for my summary, something like of the 9 properties I looked at, 8 of them were $660,000 or less sale price. There was a high sales price of $775 on Puritan Road. When I compared Puritan Road to Pine Creek Avenue, however, there were very significant differences. It was the outlier. It was the high. Let me see if I can. I know I have the notes, but of course, being distracted with this finger. It was a much not. It was a 20% larger.
So what are the addresses of the additional comps that you researched?
Okay. The additional 92 Alden Street.
Yes.
162 East Lawn Street. One 145 Puritan Road. And 1317 Mill Plain Road.
Very good. And do you have copies of?
I have. I'm going to give these to you.
Excellent. And they will be added to the file and will be used during our deliberations.
Yes, and I certainly was, trying to be as inclusive as I could about what was included in that as far as the parameters. They're not exact, but they fit within the parameters that I was using as, for square feet, which is in that original. Let me put this in. Help me do it visually. The other appeal is simpler.
Okay. So I will take any additional information you have, and we will certainly review it in more detail during our deliberations.
Yes.
Although we have limited time here,
we do.
take as long as it takes
We do.
to do our deliberations to come to a fair decision.
Yes.
And by the way, I might add that if there's additional information that you have that you would like to present after this meeting, you do have the right to come and give it to the people in the office, assessor's office, and they will add it to the file.
Okay.
But I would suggest, since we're doing deliberations concurrent with the hearings, I would suggest you do it as soon as possible.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to note on the 145 Puritan Road property, which was the highest sale point of the parameters I was using, that it was 20% more square feet. It was a 10% larger lot. It was 22 years newer. It has a central air system, which I do not, central air AC, professionally landscaped, 70%, rated 70% good versus my 53. No, I don't know. Let me just get you mine.
I can see that on the card, with
Yeah.
your percentages.
And also, and I know this is difficult, although it is listed as average condition, if you look on Zillow and see the pictures, my house is listed as average too, but I don't have granite countertops and all high-end appliances and everything new and recessed lighting everywhere. So I just, would say that. It does have one less bedroom. I just wanted to say that about the high end. Now, the other properties, they are, Mill Plain Road is a little bit out, but it's within, I think, 2-point-something miles, and it's what came up in the search.
Is your neighborhood code is
6-8.
Is 6-8, and
what I did for my second search, Harold, was
yes.
because all I could come up with were the two properties. When I first was trying to do my comparison, I opened it up to all neighborhoods.
Yes.
And that's when I got my list of 9. And then I looked at my old appraisal and thought, as a professional person doing the appraisal, they really looked south of the Post Road, and really it was south of Oldfield Road. I don't know if you know this section of town, but when I looked at the 9 properties that came up, I figured, I will. We're the old Post Road is an extension of Oldfield.
Yes.
And runs parallel to the Post Road.
And then goes down
and
all
goes
the way
down
to
the
Sasko
water.
Hill.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, that is reasonable to look at houses there. I can't do comparisons to all 8. I was having a lot of difficulty with,
Right.
Why make it more complicated, I guess.
Well, I will take the additional information if you would want to give it to me.
It points to sales prices.
Yes.
And sale price of $645, sale price of $650, another $645. Whereas I'm at $720. Now, that being said, all of my attention goes back to my next door neighbor and Old Dam Road. Those are the 2 properties that are the absolute closest to me proximity-wise. So those are the ones that I also, in your packet, Harold, have.
You've included those with your
I
notes.
have included that. Now, the thing that is pretty startling to me is the difference in what the 57 Pine Creek Avenue is appraised for and what it sold for. $111,000 less. It sold for $111,000 less. Old Dam Road.
Maybe we should raise them.
Sold. We're talking about a one particular time period, right? And unless
yes.
I'm wrong in how to interpret it, we're looking at the sales between October 1, 19 and October 1, 20.
That's correct.
And based on that, my house was assessed for $720,000.
Correct.
Appraised at $720,000. I'm pointing out that the house next door to me sold for $111,000 less than what it was appraised for. And that, I'm thinking that has bearing on what we're talking about.
The house at 57.
Correct. Now, if there are more similarities than less, it was built around the same time. It was
Okay.
built in 1920. Mine was built in 1930.
You have very good information here. It's very, all the comps. We will study that. We're limited in the amount of time we have to go through in detail.
Right, we started at, we started at 10:40.
Yes, and we still have the second property to do.
That has much less to say.
Okay. I don't want to cut you short.
I appreciate what you're saying.
But, yes, and
so
I want you to present the information
yes.
to the extent that you feel comfortable.
I don't know if it helps you. I'm happy to give you this also.
I will take that. This is
it's a map.
Diagram of where your property is.
Well, it's an old, actually official map
yes.
from the books. And I just thought that might give you an idea. The property highlighted in yellow, the larger one, Harold, is where my house sits. And the smaller, narrow piece is the second piece of property we're going to talk about.
Very good. I got it.
Okay. I thought from an illustration point of view. The other thing, can I add?
Now, may I ask you?
Yes.
Do you get a separate tax bill for
Yes,
the
I
two
do.
pieces of property?
And that's what we're going to be talking about.
Right. And so what I would suggest, as I've mentioned to others, that you may wish to approach the assessor's office downstairs, if you haven't done so already, and see what the process is to combine the two pieces of property, since obviously the second piece of property, I believe you're indicating it to be 46 Pine Creek Avenue?
No.
Address?
No, 69 Pine Creek. I think that's map. That 46 is something different.
Okay. The 69, which is right across from you.
Right.
And
I think that's a lot number, Harold, the 46.
Okay. And that has gives you right away to the Pine Creek.
That's right.
Too. So what I wanted to say is that perhaps you can speak to the assessor's office to combine it so you have one tax bill, and that property will be maybe adjusted accordingly since it is not buildable land.
I actually did that. At one point on my prior, I have a little side piece.
Yes.
That was a separate that I combined. It's kind of become a side yard now.
Yes.
So I understand what you're saying, and I should talk to Ross about.
Okay. It may be of benefit to you.
Yeah. Okay. I also just want to say something about 35 Old Dam Road, and then I'll stop.
Yes.
If you look at the Zillow pictures, this picture of 35 Old Dam Road, it does not do this justice.
Yes.
When I looked at the drone picture, they actually have a private dock onto Pine Creek.
Yes.
I don't know if you're a swimmer or a kayaker, but I do both. And
then you know my friends Andy and Don, the rowers.
Where are they?
On Pine Creek Avenue.
Where on Pine Creek?
On the ocean side.
Andy and
Don. They are competitive rowers.
You know what? I don't know them.
I don't remember their last name, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, I'm gonna watch for rowing people. But having a dock on Pine Creek Avenue on the creek.
Yes.
That's huge.
That's value. Yes.
And their house sold for $625. Their house is completely redone inside.
And that is 35 Old Dam Road that you're referring to.
35 Old Dam is the other one beside 57 that really got my attention. it has less square footage, but not enormously, 7814, as opposed to 9025, I think, that I am. The house square footage, 1880, very, very similar to mine.
Yes.
Percent good, very similar. Year built, 1928, although raised and refurbished. So it just kept you just kept me going back to, these are very significant, very, very significant.
Understood.
Okay, all right. I know that we probably need to switch over now, right?
I would suggest that,
yes.
Yes.
Can I give you a few pictures, too?
Yes, I will add those to the file as well.
These are only to illustrate one of my speculations on why the house next door suffered that low sales price, and that is because of what's directly across the street from us. That was built in 1984 and almost obliterated the view. Since then, plantings have made the view even smaller.
Can I mark on the back of these cards the address that your photos are?
You know what? I'm not sure what that address. I can look that up for you.
Are these directly across from your?
Directly. This is directly. This is when I look out of my window in the upstairs, because in some upstairs windows there's absolutely no view on that side.
Right.
So I'm just saying, when I was thinking, why did 57 sell so low? And I think part of the answer is because people coming down want to see the water from their windows. And there are a series of houses on Pine Creek that you can. But we, unfortunately, are the two houses that wound up across from this mammoth building.
I understand.
And there's one little picture at the end there that shows a home that illustrates that some people do have a full view. Okay. All right.
I'm just going to mention to the next waiting party that we will get to them shortly, and then I will complete.
Yeah, and this will be 5 minutes, believe me, because there's nothing to compare it to.
Sorry, just want them to feel comfortable too.
Okay, take your time. I know that ankle.
Keep your finger on ice.
Oh, I should.
Okay, we are good.
Okay, so across the street from me, I'm going to give all of these to you. It's simple in one sense. There are no comparable properties. There are no other.
Before we begin, let me just verify, as I did earlier, the information, and you've already been sworn in, so we need not do that process again.
Okay.
But just for the record, this is appeal number 632.
Yes.
The address is 69 Pine Creek Avenue. And the town has valued the property at $52,400. And your opinion of the market value of the property is, as of October 1st, 2020, is $41,160.
Yeah.
Today is March 5th, 2021, and we are beginning this recording in this session at 11:08 a.m. Okay, so I think we can proceed with your explanation and reason for the appeal.
It boils down very much to the statement that I gave. This land is non-buildable. It is a completely unique piece of property. So I have no idea how Vision came up with the idea that it has appreciated by 33% over 5 years. I have no way to conceive of that appreciation. There are no comparables in Fairfield. The only other piece of property that I was able to come up with was on Lantern Point, and it is a buildable piece of land, so it is completely different.
Of course.
I recognize the property has value. Of course it has value. And just because properties do appreciate to some extent in periods of time, I'm not arguing that. But 33% in 5 years for a piece of property that I cannot build on.
You cannot build on it. There is no dock at the end of the
There
property.
is no dock.
Are there other houses, to your knowledge, on your street that are on the, shall I say, the north side of Pine Creek Avenue, that across the way there is a portion of land that might lead to Pine Creek?
There is none on Pine Creek. There is none on Old Dam. There is none on Fairfield Beach. And my understanding is we are looking only at the town of Fairfield.
Correct.
And so, no, this is the Bowman's Way is a public right-of-way on Pine Creek Avenue.
And that's Bowman's?
Bowman, B-O-W-M-A-N, Bowman's Way. The town maintains it. They put a ramp on it down to the beach, but there is no other private strip of land. And in fact, to some irony, the land has actually allowed my neighbor's plantings, which have grown enormously over the past 30 years, to encroach on the airspace and further reduce my view.
Yes.
So really, Harold, that's really, I don't know what else I can say about that property. That is it. It is unique. I really differ with an appreciation of 33.6%.
Yes, I see that the prior assessment was $27,440. Your current appraised value, assessed value, is $36,680, and you are seeking
and you know, I mean,
a reduction.
Yeah.
To $41,160.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that
value.
is. Yeah, I don't even know. I tell you, that's a figure that I don't even know. I did not.
Well, as you may be aware, that the assessed value is 70% of the appraised value. So
yes.
Perhaps that's.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did use that, but I'm going to spend. You've given me all the time that I needed, and I appreciate it. And that is the only thing I'm going to look at carefully. Is that 41,000? Do I feel real comfortable with that?
Okay. Is there anything else, Ms. Mcguire, that you would like me to add to this folder?
Yes, do you want to take these or not? You don't have, is it?
Or these for the
Well, these are
property-
the other properties I mentioned, that addresses I gave you.
Yes, I will take that and add it to your file, and this pertains to the previous file number 631.
Yes.
For the main house property.
Yes.
I will take that.
Yes, and I thought I was, being as open-minded and honest as I could by including, all those properties in that geographic area that's sold in that time period.
And that's the appropriate thing to do.
Yes, okay. Okay, Harold, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in. And as I previously described, the next steps will be I will present your petition to a majority of the board at a deliberation session for consideration and voting. You will be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of the decision. All decisions will be made in March. If your appeal is denied, you can come back next year. If you are granted a reduction, you cannot appeal again until the next reevaluation in 5 years. And if you disagree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal your decision in court. Instructions on how to appeal to the court will be in your decision letter.
And if denied and I don't go to court, do I just talk to Ross Murray about coming back next year? Is that how that works?
Well, you will have the opportunity, as you did for this year, to repetition, filling out the same paperwork in February.
Okay.
As stipulated in the town notices, town website. And just as you did this year, you can repetition next year.
And it would be for the same exact time period?
It would be for the additional year time period, so perhaps you would have further information that would indicate a further fluctuation in the market that would affect your market value.
Okay.
So
it would be a whole new set of data.
It could be a whole new set of data based upon the October 1, 2021.
Okay.
October 1, 2021.
Okay.
All right. Well, I hope your finger feels better soon.
It will. It'll be sore, and I hope your ankle feels better also.
Oh, thank you. I think that will improve.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. I'll look for your friends, the rowers.
Yeah. I wish I remembered their last name.
Okay.
But
I'll leave this open?
Yes, please, for the next person.
Okay. Do I sit right here?
Please take
All
a
right.
seat.
Okay.
This hearing, my name is Harold Zawatsky, by the way.
Hi, Harold. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. I'm one of the 9 members of our Board of Assessment Appeals. We're all volunteers, and we're basically acting as advocates for our fellow taxpayers to hear their appeals and then present your appeal information to the majority of the board for consideration, deliberation, and voting. So
Okay.
this is basically a hearing for listening to your reasons why you feel that there should be a change.
Okay.
So, first of all, I want to verify the information we have on file with you. And I see that there's 2.
There's 2, right.
Number 564 and 563.
Yes.
Which one would you like to do first?
I guess we'll start with which is the first one? 564 is the first. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. But 564 is the 11 o'clock. 563. I don't know if you want to go in appeal order or
Well, we can do by the time.
the time order. Okay. They're really connected, so I
Yes.
know they're different addresses, but they were purchased as one, and when they gave me the purchase, it was 2 addresses.
All right. Well,
And maybe there's some confusion with that.
To begin with, again, my name is Harold Zawatsky, and we're discussing appeal number 564. Is that correct?
Correct.
The address is 421 Pine Creek Avenue,
Yes.
and the owner is you, Stephen Frost, and Sandra
Yes.
Frost. Is that correct?
Correct.
Today, the town has the property valued as of 10/1/2020 of $37,200, and your petition states that your opinion of value as of 10/1/2020 is $10,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Today is Friday, March 5th, and you are here for the hearing, and the start time for this hearing is 11:23 a.m.
Yes.
And I apologize for the delay, and thank you for coming in.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, the next step, Mr. Frost, is to swear you in.
Okay.
So I will ask you to please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Very good. So would you please sign that document, which indicates your presence and that you've been sworn in? And I'll countersign that. Okay. Great. So this is your opportunity, Mr. Frost, to state why you believe the market value of this property on October 1st, 2020 should be $10,000 and not the town's value of the same date of $37,200.
Okay. So I just bought the land behind that, and I have a map of one of the survey maps from Huntington. And it just sort of gives a picture of what's going on down there. But all this is it's vacant land. It's non-buildable. I bought this land, I think, in 2013 or 14. I have that. This was in 2014, September 12, 2014. So I bought the two parcels together. I did pay $40,000 for it combined, and I don't know if there was maybe some confusion. They thought it was each one, but I've got the HOA settlement statement from those years ago. But in October, I bought the land behind it for $2,000, which is, it's all marshland, so it's non-buildable, really non-usable open space. So I just have these trades, and the other case I'd like to make is that comparable lands, they're being taxed at. I put a spreadsheet in there showing their value that the town has put per square foot. And essentially, like the guy next to me, Dents, he's valued at, what is he? He is for $373. So I broke it down to square footage, but he's basically getting charged half of what I am. He's at $3.77 per square foot, where I'm at $7.75. And all the land that's behind some of which I've just purchased, is valued at 25 cents per square foot. And the only other comp I put on here was 355 Pine Creek, which was combined with 355, but he's got a building on it. He was grandfathered in, so he has a garage with an apartment above it.
Yes.
And he's at $12 a square foot. So I clearly see the value of that because he can, he's got a nice building on it. But I don't have the ability to do that. It's considered wetlands.
So you don't have the ability to build on it, and even if you were to build you can't build on it, so it doesn't matter whether it's raised or not.
Right. I don't
understood.
From what I understand, you can't touch it. I can't put fill in it. I can't do anything the way it's zoned. And I think 355, just because he happened to have a structure there pre whatever year they're looking at, he was allowed to tear down the old shed that was there and put this garage on it, which is very nice.
Okay, well, it's pretty clear cut. I certainly see what the issue is here. And we'll take the information that you provided into consideration when we do our deliberations.
Thank you.
Did you appeal this before?
No, this is the first time. I guess in 2015, it was kind of close. I mean, they were valuing it because it went up, I think, 25% from that one. So it was sort of a little above what I paid for it, and I didn't really look at the comps, and I don't know if they were different, but it seems like maybe somebody looked at the price point and thought it was each lot or something, perhaps, instead of combined. But when I look at the other lots, they're about half. Certainly the dense lot, the bigger lot next to me, he's at half the per square foot. He's $377.
Just for my own understanding, you purchased these two lots. They are next to each other or contiguous?
Yes.
Do they adjoin another property that you own?
They do now, because I just purchased the piece north of it, which is the exact same size of what I have. They just drew the lines back to the next lot, and there's this is true marsh. I mean, it's you can't walk back there. It's wet.
Are you saying that all of the pieces of property that you purchased are all marsh and not buildable?
Not all of it. It's not buildable, but
okay.
The 417, half of it slopes down. So when you get to from the beginning, I guess the bottom left-hand corner of 417, it's solid ground, which, these other guys have a little more. There's a little bit of a grade from Egan to the town of Fairfield over to Dents, and then it's all seems higher over there. But once you get to my lot, it starts to grade down, and when you get to 421, it's wet back there.
Are these pieces of property adjacent to a home that you own?
Across the street. So I live on the other side of Pine Creek. So Pine Creek Avenue divides my property, my home, versus these properties. So Loper used to own all of this, and he died in 2013, I believe. The estate took it over, and then they kind of went to all of us who live across the street and said, "Hey, do you want to own that lot across from you?" So we all sort of had our own deals with them, and I bought those 2 lots. I thought it was 1, but it was 2. And then the subsequent piece they kept, and then there's been a couple owners, and so it's traded a couple times. This 443, the one that's 443, and then that guy who is another neighbor who lives Codora, he lives a couple doors down. He then came back to the same group, and he offered the land behind us. So now we just doubled our footprint, extended back. But this stuff truly, as my 421 property turns into wetlands, that's got the cattails growing in it, so it's you can probably blaze it.
Well, I can understand why you wanted to purchase it, so that you would have a clear shot of. Do you face the creek or the sound?
So I face I guess our house faces the creek. We're on the creek, and then across the street is the end of Fairfield Beach Road.
Yes.
So you've got that turnaround there. So we've got a somewhat unobstructed view. There's 2 houses there, so our house has got a shot, but we have houses in front of us. So we're on the creek.
I understand.
And then this is basically behind the creek, and then when you come around, you have the whole sportsplex with the fields and everything. So it does tend to get wet back here, and I think one of the gates that they have back there to keep those fields dry, a couple of years ago, one of the gates had broke. So all those birch trees that are in here died because they were just constantly flooded with salt water, unfortunately. So you look back there now, and those trees are all dead. But the cattails survived, and we had so there's it's sort of like a sponge.
What is the address of your home?
420
Pine Creek Avenue.
Pine Creek Avenue.
Okay, it's pretty clear. So we will take the information that you provide into consideration. My personal opinion of what you might want to consider doing is to speak to the assessor's office and see if there is some benefit to you in combining these 2 parcels with your home, since you own them all. And are you getting separate tax bills for each property?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
So the parcels that we're discussing here at 421, and then subsequently we'll talk about 417, are not buildable lots, and perhaps, I can't say for sure myself, but perhaps they will be adjusted at a different rate per square foot than a buildable lot or the lot that your home is. So I would suggest to you that you consider seeing the assessor's office and seeing if there's a way to combine all 3 pieces of property, and if that has some benefit for you.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything, do you want me to add this map to your information?
Sure. I might have sent it in the first couple weeks ago, but I've got.
I probably will have it in the folder, but
yeah, this is for your. Actually, this one I've highlighted. This one might be better. It just sort of highlights the pieces that I referenced with a little highlighter. So that one's just got the.
I'm going to mark this with the same highlight.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason that printer doesn't let you write very well on it.
It's okay. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Great. Right.
And I just had put together a spreadsheet, just sort of putting down the, dollar per square foot on the appraisal, mine versus the neighbors that are there.
Would you like to add that to the file, or do I already have it?
It might be in the file, but if not, I have another copy.
Okay. I'll add that to the file. Anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah, and we have that trade from the lot behind us from Kedora on 443, and I think he bought it the year before from whoever. They finally built a house back there in that park, so. As people have gotten to that point, the neighbors were offered all this vacant land. So this Mr. Kedora bought it, and then he went to all of us. So he just, I think, took he took what the assessment was from 5 years ago, and he billed each of us per square foot. So he divided the lots up, and we paid, I think, 26 or 25 cents per, pretty close to whatever it was worth.
Yes. All right. Let me just share with you what the next steps will be.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to the next appeal.
Great.
I, Harold Zawatsky, will be presenting your petition to a majority of the board at a deliberation session for consideration and voting. We are 9 members of the board, so we will have at least 5 members present for the deliberation and voting. And you will be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days by mail. All decisions will be made in March. If your appeal is denied, you will have the right to come back next year.
Okay.
And appeal again through the same process that you appealed this time. If your appeal is granted, then you're good for the next 5 years. You can't come back and appeal again until the next revaluation period.
Okay.
If you disagree with the board's decision, you can. Your next step would be to appeal your decision in the courts. And instructions of how to appeal to the courts will be in the decision letter. So basically the next thing is we'll deliberate, we'll vote, and you'll get a letter within 7 days of our decision.
Great.
Any questions?
No.
All right.
Appreciate the process.
Thank you. We're going to be repeating a lot this year. We have over 600 appeals to deal with.
Really? That's probably... Well, I don't know what the normal caseload is, but it's a lot.
Probably about 120, 130. So we've got like 5 times.
5 times, that's a lot.
Yeah. But we're doing it. And we've added members to our board for that purpose. So, Mr. Frost, let's talk about your next appeal. And that is Appeal 563. And the address in question is 417 Pine Creek Avenue.
Yes.
And you are the owner, Stephen Frost, along with Sandra Frost. The town has valued your property as of October 1st, 2020. Yes, October 1st, 2020, at $36,800. And your opinion of the value of this parcel of land is $10,000, correct?
Correct.
Today is Friday, March 5th, and we're beginning this hearing at 11:40 a.m. And my name is Harold Zawatsky. All right, Mr. Frost, tell me why you believe this property should has a market value of $10,000.
It's identical to the 421 property. Same reasons. The price per square foot for these two is one's $775. This one's the $775. The prior property was $776. $373. The dense property, which is the same open space, is valued at by the town $3.77 per square foot. And then, of course, the 443 behind us, which we just purchased a portion of, is valued at 25 cents per square foot on the appraisal. So really the same exact reasoning as 421. And actually, this property is the one that's this is the one that's not as wet as 421 is wetter as the grade goes down.
Okay.
So the Phragmites have crept a little bit. It doesn't really show the grade on these properties. They look, according to this, the same, but I think they're just showing the creek and that...
we will be able to, during our deliberations, to pull up topographic maps and other information that we can use in formulating our decision.
Great. Yes, I don't know. This was the map I had gotten when I originally bought this off of Round Hill.
Well, you mentioned two comps with much lower per square foot price.
Yes.
What were those?
373 Pine Creek Avenue.
Yes.
And I also used the 443 Pine Creek Avenue.
Pine Creek Avenue. Okay. I don't see it on the map that you gave me. Is it on that map you're looking at?
It is. This map has, because 443 was a big parcel that's now been divided up. So I
see it now. Yes, parcel to be retained by the owners of 443 Pine Creek Avenue, not a buildable lot.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Although it has 16,510 square feet and is approximately 0.36 acres, it's considered to be not a building lot. And we'll have to check why that is. Perhaps the topographical maps will tell us that.
Okay.
That's actually at the end of Pine Creek Avenue.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
All right.
All
Anything else you wish to add?
I think that's it.
Very good. I think you've stated your case appropriately and very succinctly. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So again, the next steps, as I mentioned for the previous appeal, is that I will be presenting your petition to a majority of the board at a deliberation session for consideration and voting, and you will be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of the decision, and all decisions should be made in March. So it'll arrive to you by the end of March, or with the mails, maybe first week of April. If your appeal is denied, you can come back next year. If it is approved, you cannot come back for 5 years until the next reval period. And if you disagree with the board's decision, you can take the next steps and appeal your decision in court. Instructions of how to appeal in court will appear in your decision letter.
Understood.
Any questions for me?
No, I think that's it.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for hearing me, and thank you for service and doing this as a volunteer.
Thank you. Are you a fisherman?
No. My dad is, but
Okay.
I'm not, and there's a lot of great fishing kind of down there in the
Yeah,
creek.
I was thinking that's why you chose to be in that area, but
Yeah, it's more for the kayaking and canoeing up the creek and,
absolutely.
and that stuff. So it's
Have you run into friends of mine, Don and they're professional paddlers, Don and they live on Pine Creek Avenue.
They live
On the ocean side.
on the ocean side.
Yeah.
So they don't have the creek in front of
Don
them.
and Andy. No, they have the ocean in front of them.
Oh yeah. So it's amazing. There's not a divide, but you don't.
Yeah.
It's about a half mile long.
But you can see the boats coming out of the.
You can see the boats coming out of the creek. So it's a fun place in the summer. It's really
Absolutely
special.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Well, thank
nice
you.
Meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well. Have a great weekend, and
Thank you.
hopefully get out of this stuff pretty soon. So, all right.
Well, I've had my 2 shots, so
Oh, great.
I feel good. I feel more comfortable.
Well, I'm not due until the 22nd. So, and I'm going to try for the 1 shot to J&J.
To Johnson.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. You want me to leave this open?
Yes. This is Harold Zawatsky. We are ending this hearing session of March 5th, 2021. The time is 11:49 a.m. 11:49 a.m. This concludes the session. Room number 1. Thank you.